A very warm welcome to one and all present over here, teachers, for another Super Sunday workshop. Thank you so much for joining consistently. And yeah, it's not audible because we just started right now. I hope everyone is able to hear me and see me clearly. I think yes. Yeah, very good morning to one and all. Great meeting one and all. It's really amazing to see the same level of responses by people who are really consistent and coming on a Sunday right in the morning at 10 o'clock is definitely not an easy task. And the people who have taken the efforts, I'll make sure that the next 45 minutes to 50 minutes, whatever we speak about is of worth listening to. A lot of value to it will definitely be added, both from your professional point of view and also from your personal life point of view. Well, today's topic is quite interesting, and this topic is something related to what exactly we call as human beings. Be human, or be human to that particular child or a teacher. We talk about the qualities of being an actual human, and this is going to be all about that. So personal and social qualities for holistic development is going to be the topic of today, and we're going to have a fantastic journey. This is more from non-academic perspective, so this is definitely not categorized under any subject as such. In case if anyone is looking at how can I imbibe PSQ in maths and science, no. PSQ or personal and social quality is not subject specific. In fact, this itself is a separate subject altogether. So we're going to talk about this to quite some extent, and the people who have been into counseling, the people who have been into therapy, or the people who are into a little bit of psychiatry or psychologists out there, this will be very much relatable to everyone. And somewhere as a human being, I very strongly believe that this aspect of emotional bonding and connect is something that's very, very important, irrespective of whatever discipline that we are specialized in. Just because you're a counselor, you should have an extra level of empathy, and you should not. No, that's really not the right way of looking at it. It's just that understanding each other from deeper sense is attributed to something called as personal and social quality. Today we'll be focusing on secondary stage of learners more than the primary stage, something above grade 8, where the topic has been dealt from NCERT, and eventually there'll be a time where we'll have another Super Sunday workshop on an emotional quality aspect for early childhood care and education. That's also a very good and important domain to be addressed, because if that's done at the grassroots level over there, then secondary stage is automatically taken care of. Let's quickly continue. Before starting, I would like to ask a question to everyone. Most of you might be able to relate to this. We all somewhere or the other, like Vandana ma'am, Savitri ma'am, or Miss Pooja, or Diman, or Pallavi, or anybody for that matter, Geetanjali, we are associated with one or the other brands. I'll repeat it, brands that we are emotionally connected. I'll repeat it. For example, if you talk about salt, salt in our day-to-day usage, in my home, as far as I remember, since my childhood, even till now, we are using Tata Salt. I don't even know if there is any other brand existing or not. So there is an emotional connect with this, or maybe the branding is done like that. I'm not really sure, but we are all there with Tata. And similarly, when we talk about coffee as such or tea as such, some people, if you can put it on the chat as well. What do you prefer for tea? Back in those days, we used to have something called a society. I mean, that used to be, again, I think, a Tata brand, society. And for coffee, people generally use brew or Nescafe. There are many others as well. Well, the tea has become really common right now. Brook Bond is there, Red Label is there. Well, when we talk about the toothpaste, do you have anything in common? Okay, Narsus coffee. Okay, that's a good. Colgate, exactly. Colgate used to be super common. See, most of you come up with Colgate. Pepsodent is also great. There used to be something called as close up. Do you even remember that? Just because it used to be red and little refreshing to the mouth, people used to love it. But still, Colgate used to be on the top of the leaderboard always. Yeah, Nestle products used to be very, very common. This thing called Meshwalk is also great. I think, somewhere if you go even a little backwards in India, वो Vico Vajritanti करके कुछ होता था, if I'm not wrong. And even that's an amazing brand. Fair and Lovely. Exactly. Fair and Lovely. Ajkal, I don't know if people even use it or not, but Fair and Lovely used to be quite a common. Yeah. Lal Dant Manjan also used to be quite common. Exactly. Vico Turmeric. Exactly. Filter coffee was always the tradition of, Indian culture. Horlicks used to be quite famous, and even now they did not change their color pattern. The blue and orange color ka pattern. So that's again Horlicks coming into picture. Santur, a good one. Parle G, yeah, how did I miss Parle G? The best part of Parle G is like you dip that Parle G in the tea and you have it, you relish that in the evenings and the mornings, maybe. And the best part is, or the tragic part is, when the first biscuit falls down, you try to save that with the second biscuit. And the tragic part is now the second biscuit also falls down. This used to be quite a charm during a surf as a discipline. Nirma, exactly. Now, why do we talk about all these brands? We are speaking about this, and personal and social qualities, how are they actually related? When you look into an organization like whatever you spoke about, Prestige ho, Dalda ho, Milk Bikis ho, Tiger ho, Parle G ho, they all come up with some sort of a tradition. In fact, even during marriages, there are families out there who go to only one specific shop to buy the marriage sari. Even it could be a lehenga as well. The tradition that's followed, and this tradition is not just about the quality of the food. It's also about some values that are associated with that, and these values that we're going to talk about today forms what we call as our lifestyle. And all these brands that are present out there, it could have, yeah, Nalli saris or Nalli silks, exactly, Indian Silk House, you're absolutely correct. When we talk about all these things, somewhere or the other, our qualities, only if they resemble with the quality of that brand, we connect to that, otherwise we don't. And in such scenarios, these brands come up with fantastic way of communicating their values to the people. Now, that might have got nothing to do with the product, but the advertisement shown, the way it is projected, will appear as if they are matching with our own values. I would like to play a quick video on the same. And Kanjivaram still we buy, exactly. Banarasi, exactly. We hardly wear, exactly. We will continue on that. I would like to, Lijjat Papad, oh wow, that's a good point. And the advertisement of that also used to be quite catchy. Let me show you something now which you might relate to, and some of you would have actually watched this. So I go here, and where is it? Yes, I'm sharing the screen, I'm sharing the sound, and please watch this, teachers. Quite an interesting one.
To get the best out of any enterprise, begin with faith. Drive it with skill. Power it with partnership. Grace it with honesty. Strengthen it with teamwork. Honor it with respect. To get the best out of any enterprise, live your values. Tata, a century of trust.
Exactly. And if you look into this advertisement carefully, you would have figured out that that none of those words that were spoken over there, the values of trust, the value of respect, the value of empathy, and all these things, none of them. Okay, one second, I'm sorry. Okay. Be on mute. Great. So when we talk about all these aspects, you will find that none of them actually come under any subject as an individual aspect. Like mathematics can still have all these values, social can all have all these values, science can have all these, but somewhere these are the most important. And the success of a brand or the success of a company coming down, success of an individual directly depends on the attributes of these values. And NCERT has very nicely touched upon this, called as a personal and social qualities for a holistic development, called as PSQ. So whatever we are speaking today is completely from the adaptations of the course by NCERT. I would like to share my screen and show you where exactly it is present, and not really. And that's going to be in the website. I'll share this link also eventually, itpd.ncert.gov.in. No, this is not the course. I think I'll open it up. So just like we touch base upon one of these courses by NCERT or Diksha Mein, there are multiple courses by Nishtha, Swayam, National Repository of Open Education Resources. This is also some documentation from that particular course. An interesting course which I would recommend everyone to please go through. Well, the certification right now is not functional because there are no batches running as such, but having an idea through this Super Sunday workshop of what exactly is personal social qualities, once the course gets launched for certification, it'll become very easy for everyone to get yourself certified within probably 15-20 minutes maximum, because most of the content of that particular course will be covered in another 40-45 minutes. So I'll like to come over here, and this can be accessed via Nishtha portal as well. And this comes under course number 3 of NCERT portal or Nishtha portal. You can see this. So personal and social qualities for holistic development. You've got the complete details. We'll be playing some videos from the course also today to get a better hang of what exactly is present in the course. Somewhere I did not like it that much for conveying the message point of view, but chalega, to understand at a basic level, definitely, because most of these courses have got an enactment which is pre-planned, and anything that's pre-planned and acted, it looks very much like acting and not really real. Yeah, so that's the reason. But anyways, let's continue quickly, and for that, here we go. So I would like to quickly go for the slideshow. So personal and social qualities for holistic development. Now, when we actually talk about personal and social qualities, PSQ, this comes under the affective domain. You know that Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy is divided into 3 major aspects of learning process. The process is something called as categorized under cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, and affective domain. You all know about it, right? You might remember this point of remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. This is the hierarchy of Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy, which we generally use called as lower order thinking skills and higher order thinking skills. But this particular aspect of remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create comes under cognitive domain. But when we talk about the other aspect called as psychomotor domain, which is related to the skills, and finally the affective domain, which is related to emotions. Now, when we talk about PSQ, it comes under the category of affective domain, which is completely related to your emotional intelligence, emotional quotient, emotional well-being, blah, 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 everything related to emotions, the social qualities. And under that particular area, Benjamin Bloom very clearly states that the hierarchy is something like this. Anytime when a newborn baby is born or an individual is waking up in the morning, they'll be continuously receiving information from the surroundings, and this reception of information is happening from emotional perspective via our sense organs. Just imagine Amita ma'am is waking up early in the morning, and she's just opening the window, and there's a gentle breeze of air. Sun just is rising, and she can see some birds flying out there. I think you're all able to imagine this. The gentle breeze with a cup of coffee in her hand, and she is just having a gentle smile, thanking God for for this particular day. That's exactly what we call as receiving aspect of affective domain. This area of relishment, this area of appreciation comes only with the fact of receiving. Responding comes under the next level, where we talk about whatever you receive, based on that there is a response by us. Either you enjoy that moment, or you get angry about it, or you get sad about it, but some sort of an emotional that's went out. Now that particular aspect comes under responding. And once receiving and responding regularly happens, we start valuing those things. For example, if a boy or a girl is waking up regularly early in the morning, and there's one aspect of that morning that gives them a lot of joy, this joy will associate a value for waking up in the morning, and that value association will drive the whole process. If you wake up in the morning and there's nothing interesting about, next day waking up, you don't have any motivation or discipline to be done. The fact of waking up in the morning or doing any activity comes directly from valuing those things. Maybe every morning 6 o'clock, the newspaper guy comes and drops a newspaper, and he wishes you good morning, and you really feel good about that particular person. And just to meet that particular person in the morning, maybe you wake up. I'm telling about a scenario that used to happen in my home. Back in those days, newspapers and newspaper wala used to be one of the family members. I do not know how about you, but this used to be the case in my case. Then once we start valuing things throughout the day, you start prioritizing information. मेरे लिए ये ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, वो थोड़ा सा कम, पर मैं बाद में कर लूंगा, वो और भी कम इंपॉर्टेंट है. So when you try to associate the importance and priorities, that comes under the category of organizing. So multiple values getting prioritized based on your values comes under the category of organizing. And finally, the most important, once you regularly organize things, prioritize things, that becomes your character. You characterize to it. Now, this is called as the affective domain of Benjamin Bloom. Why are we even discussing about it? Because you see that everything begins from receiving. And maybe that's why people say that listening is the most important skill. I hope everyone is able to connect it right now. So the more you receive, the better you respond. Allow the information to come to you as much as possible. And once that stops somewhere or slows down somewhere, then you start responding. And it's also very important for a person to make sure you receive only the things that are necessary, and that are not really necessary, which are unwanted or really bad for you mentally or physically. Somewhere we need to put a stop right in the beginning. So right in the beginning, you should know as a person if this is good or bad. And that comes up with something called as metacognitive skills, ability of Amita to tell herself that this is a wrong thing or this is a right thing, comes from metacognition. Receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterizing. Nice, na? We thought about cognitive domain. We knew what exactly it is. We are discussing about affective domain, and that also has got layers. And these layers have got lower order thinking and higher order thinking. Most CBSE circulars will always talk about knowledge and skills, knowledge and abilities, but no circular will talk about the attitude. Knowledge, skills, and attitudes forms the three bases of any learning process. And now we are going to talk about attitude in this particular webinar. Let's continue on this. I think some of you are already doing it. Okay, that's great, Shraddha. So holistic meaning. Now, when we talk about holistic, it's just that I wanted to directly Google and put it over here. Holistic is actually annotation disable. Here we go. Great. So when we talk about holistic, what exactly it means according to the Oxford Dictionary, characterized by the belief that the parts of something, I'll repeat it, parts of something are interconnected and can be explained only by the reference of the whole. As a human being, we all have multiple qualities, and these qualities can be associated from good and bad as well. And that's wholesome us. Now, when we look at a particular child, this particular child's development can happen in multiple directions. It can be from physical attributes. It can be from sensory attributes. It can be from cognitive attributes. It can be from emotional attributes. But during our examinations or assessment process, we check only the cognitive aspect, not the physical to a large extent, not the emotional, not at all the emotional, in fact. But when we talk about holistic development of a child, NEP very clearly mentions that this time NEP 2020 is going to be only for holistic development of a child. And that's why multiple exposures to multiple disciplines are introduced right from grade 6 onwards. You've got the skill subjects, you've got the emotional subjects as well, where we talk about emotional well-being, healthy lifestyle, and things like that. So characterized by the belief that parts of something are interconnected and can be explained only by the reference of a whole. A child's report card needs to be holistic in nature, and having an holistic report card is one difficult of a task, very, very difficult. And if you're able to categorize all of them under 5 or 6 domains of cognitive, psychomotor, and affective, then that's the best thing that can happen. So keeping all these things in mind, holistic and the affective domain, NCERT came up with a course, and that course is all about personal and social qualities. The first quality that they talk about is something called as perspective. Now, perspective is the stimulus combined by the experience and background of a person. Now I'll talk about it. Backgrounds can be culture, tradition, languages, topography, brought up, social relationship, and many more. Just imagine the moment we hear a word, for example, a train. The moment I say train, everybody can close your eyes if you want to and think about your last journey or your latest journey or your childhood journey. Don't you think it's going to be different for everyone? But one common thing is going to be the train. Somewhere the experiences might be very different, but the common thing is going to be train. The point over here is the perspective of an individual about a particular incident is directly dependent on their experiences. Just not the experiences, their culture. Just not the culture, their tradition. Just not the tradition, they brought up. I hope you're able to connect. Hence, when we talk about perspectives, everyone is growing out there in one way or the other. Respecting each and every perspective is called as perspective taking. And the best part, how nicely they've mentioned in this particular course, they said that let me share my screen once again. I'm so sorry. The perspective, okay, let me first, the number of students that we have in the classroom is equivalent to that many number of perspectives. So if there are 35 children or 40 children in a class, that means we have got 35 different perspectives and 40 different perspectives of one concept. So the first quality, when we actually discuss about personal and social qualities in this particular program, there are around 5 or 6 qualities that they've explicitly mentioned. One quality is directly dependent on other, so we can't really say that perspective is important, empathy is not important and all, but they are beginning with perspective, because once you start respecting perspectives, automatically things fall into place. And perspective taking as a skill is very, very important for a teacher. Why? Because when a teacher is entering the class, the teacher will also have her own perspectives, and this particular perspectives can be very productive and can be harmful also at times. There has been incidents where a teacher has an opinion about a social cause, a problem, and she's explaining about the same. There is another teacher of the same subject having a different opinion about that same social cause and talking about it. For example, reservation for examinations for a sect of society is actually not good, and some people say it's actually good. Now, keeping all these aside, not putting your perspective to the students, but by listening to them what exactly they're speaking, and based on that, if a teacher can come to conclusion, that's a very good way of perspective taking. And it is one of the most difficult, though it is a quite an easy word out there, but perspective taking is very, very difficult over there. Let's continue on this. The number of students that we have in the classroom is equivalent to that many number of perspectives. Watch this. So I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, just try to answer this question, teachers. It's quite simple to understand. Everybody can answer. Observe the 4 connected incidents mentioned below. Low crop yield, unexpected drought, price of food grains rises, low supply of grains. Okay, we're talking about perspectives over here. And which of the following is the logical order of the incidents? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 3, 4, 1, 2. Take your time and then respond. Take your time and respond. So Nakshi ma'am says C. Archana ma'am says 2143. Come on, take your time and respond. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, some people come up with C. Okay, most of you are coming up with C as an option. Oh, this is an interesting case study to be done for sure. Okay, everyone with the C. Okay, some say B as well. Okay. Okay, demand and supply. So this is an economics question. Okay. Okay, just think about it. Think about it. Okay, C, A. Deepanvida ma'am says A. Okay. C. Jyoti ma'am says all are correct. No. No, this is all are not correct. Teachers, take your time. It's only one point is correct over here. And most people are coming up with C as an answer. Some people are even changing your answer from C to A and B. Is that so? I don't think so. Okay, check on the same. Check on the same. Madhurima ma'am, Meenakshi ma'am, Aishwarya ma'am, C. Pravina ma'am, C. Another 10 seconds. Shilpa says C. Pravina says C. Okay, that's great. Manika says B. 4213. Okay. Now, the most people, I will go with most majority of the answers over here, which said that C is the right answer. We say that observe the four connected incidents mentioned below. According to C being the major answer, unexpected drought, because of which low crop yield happened, because of which low supply of grains, and the price of food grains rises. This is what most people have answered. But you know what? The right answer over here is actually D for Delhi. D for Delhi. No, I'm just kidding. C is also the right answer, teachers. C is also the right answer, but D could also be the right answer. Look at D. D for Delhi could be the right answer. Why? Because when we talk about 3412, the price of food grains rises. Why? Because of low supply of grains. Why? Because low supply. Because of low crop yield. And why low crop yield? Because of unexpected drought. Are you able to understand this? Yeah, it's C is also correct and D is also correct over here. But what really matters is the perspective. Are you able to understand? Now, for a teacher, when you go through an immense amount of knowledge, you exactly know the process of what exactly happens around. But for a child, when he's talking about low crop yield and things like that, the first time the child will be feeling that the crop yield is low or the food is at the shop. The child will go to the shop and he'll find that, or she will find that price of food grains have got risen, and the child is trying to find out why. Child will not know, the drought has come, and that's why everything is going to have a price rise. No, the child will not even be able to feel that. But for a child, price of food grains is something that they can immediately sense why this has happened, and then they will try to figure out the answer, maybe because of low supply of grains. But why did low supply of grains happen? Maybe because of low crop yield. And why low crop yield? Maybe because of unexpected drought. Nice question, right? Logics vary from person to person, and here when we talk about logics, this is exactly what we call as perspectives. So when we come up with perspectives, here in this case I'm trying to bring a logical question into perspective, but it can happen with emotions also. Some people might say Hitler is a bad man, very bad man. Some people might say Hitler is a hero. He was really good for his own country. Some people might really be very unhappy with Russia's President Putin, and he talking about waging a war against multiple countries out there. But somewhere we can also be very confident that Russians are not really, unhappy about it. They're like, yeah, this is required. So when we talk about perspectives, listening to perspectives is very important. And perspectives pe sunte sunte, while you listen to perspectives, we should not get lost. Especially in these news channels, they have these debates coming in the evening. And Arnab Goswami is one of the best examples for talking about perspectives. He'll bang the desk, he'll break everything, but he'll come to a point and he'll say that this is what is correct. He's very strong about his perspective, and he'll sometimes not allow other person to talk, or sometimes he'll be very genuine about it. So that's the skill of a person to relate and understand the perspectives. Don't watch debates if it's political in nature. Those are generally scripted somewhere around there. Let's continue with this on the basis. Good. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Let's go further, teachers. And the next one is something very interesting, and you will love these points. It starts from the teacher. Now, what do you mean by it starts from the teacher? Now, whenever a child is trying to develop their character, it is happening because of the affective domain ka first level called as reception. Reception means they are observing things in the surroundings, and this observation can happen maximum at home and next in the school. In fact, these days students spend separate particularly the adolescent age groups, grade 6 and above, secondary stage, more in the school and in their friend circle than at home. So somewhere when we talk about the observation or the reception under affective domain, it all comes only with looking at things. A child raised and brought up in America has got a complete different outlook of how people behave than to a child raised in somewhere in Varanasi, Kolkata, Mumbai, or Bangalore. I hope you're able to understand, right? Why? Because of the surroundings. So, and this surrounding is heavily influenced by a teacher coming to school on time. If a child is watching a teacher regularly coming a little late to the school or to the class, somewhere there is a perception, acha, ye teacher bahut acha padhati hai, she's so good, she's coming to the late to the class, maybe that's okay. That is the message that the teacher is passing over there. Showing positive attitude towards fellow teachers. There have been a lot of instances where many government officials have figured out one teacher talks about another teacher in the classroom. Acha, unhone padhaya kya, to tumhe samjha nahi hoga. Let me repeat the same again. Very bad attribute. Now, when we say this, you are indirectly giving the message to children that if a third person is not present in the room, you can still talk about them. Later in the life, when the child goes to an adult age, to the job profile, and there, if somebody doesn't tell you're not supposed to gossip about others, the child will permanently think that this is the right way of doing it. And that's very harmful to life. Looking at problems with a positive mindset. Many students would have come to teachers, talking about ki ma'am, aaj maine homework nahi kiya. And some people will not even say that, they will try to lie. So at that moment, if a teacher is like, okay, that's okay, no problem. If you've not done the homework today, that's completely fine. But can I know the reason? Is it because you were lazy about it? Or is it because you were not well? Now, when we get into the level of the child and ask all those attributes that the child would have done. Did you play extra yesterday in the evening because of which you did not do your homework? Not from anger point of view, but from a concern point of view. So positive mindset is somewhere where you try to show concern rather than anger. There used to be a custom, even now in Tamil Nadu, I've seen it and I've felt it, and that's the reason I'm speaking about it. There is something called a study hours in the hostel. And study hours in the hostel is very, very difficult life. Why? Because right in the morning at 4 o'clock, the children of grade 11 and 12 have to wake up. And by 5 o'clock, within 1 hour, they need to get ready and come to the study hall and start preparing. And this is not only during the exam, teachers, this is happening throughout the year. This is very, very, I do not know, I shouldn't I don't have the words to say is it harmful or is it bad, or but definitely it's affecting someone. Well, the students have achieved, because of that they've got a lot of laurels out there. Hard work really is important, but generalizing that is actually not the right thing. Maybe all the 40 children, some of them might want to study late in the night and not really wake up in the morning. Now, when we talk about this particular attribute of waking up early in the morning, there was this professor teacher who said that let us have a question asked to the children. Are you really interested in waking in the morning? 90% of the children started saying no, no, no. And that's when this rule was completely abolished. There was a concern shown by the leader out there, asking the children itself, are you really happy? Even if for fun element, if the children are saying no, we are not happy, that's totally fine. Let's respect that. Now, I'm not trying to come up with a rule. Whatever I'm speaking is coming from the course perspectives. So we can think about it. Beating the children is a very bad attribute again. But anyways, let's not get over there. Teachers who are skilled in communication, classroom management, and appropriate disciplining techniques create a positive learning environment. Okay, being sensitive to others' feelings, emotions, viewpoints, etc., and caring about one another's well-being is one of the primary qualities necessary for building. Now, some teachers would have seen that when they are absent, the other teacher comes and takes a substitution, and this substitution teacher, when talking to children, says that your teacher is caught up with something important, so I'm here to fill up her place. Her place. Somewhere you're indirectly communicating that I am helping my colleague. You are supposed to help your friends. This is a subconscious way of communicating that attribute. In fact, it is very important for a substitute teacher to explicitly mention that. I think some of you already do that, right? And finally, the last statement, you can nurture the children. Basically, you can nurture if it's in your nature. So if you are what you are, exactly what you are will be the students in the future. So this is something, quite scientific. I mean, put a child in a particular surrounding, whatever is the surrounding, that's exactly the impact the child would have. A good point out there. It starts from the teacher, it starts from you, and I think everybody agrees with that, right? Let's go forward and let's talk about the psychological needs of learners at secondary stage. And from this point onwards, we'll talk about the qualities that are supposed to be imbibed. So for a secondary stage students, especially after grade 6, they have this urge of understanding who they are, self identity. That's the first point, acquiring self identity both as a person and as a worker. The children might want to know, are they capable of playing cricket? Are they capable of doing mathematics? Or are they capable of attracting the opposite gender? Are they capable of amusing the teachers? These are the identities. That's why you'll say that there is a drastic change between children from grade 5 6 onwards to 7 and 8. You would have thought that, Ari, you were so good in primary classes, what happened to you suddenly? Why are you like this? Well, this is a very wrong question to ask, but at the same time, you'll be able to see this drastic difference. And that happens because of the age. Adolescence and puberty also plays its role, both for a boy and for a girl. Girl का अच्छे से पता है लोगों को, boy के बारे में कोई बात नहीं करता. It's important to talk about that as well. Acquiring emotional independence. Generally, at this time, emotional breakdown happens a lot. A small sense of attention is not given to a particular child, the child goes on an emotional breakdown. Monitor banna tha class ka, but he was not able to become the monitor for some and so reason. He's not able to have that emotional independence. So this comes as a quality of emotional independence. Demonstrate independence in thinking, very similar to that. Acquiring new and more mature and meaningful relationship with age mates. Now this is really important, where we talk about having the respect for opposite gender, at the same time not taking things too seriously or not leaving it completely casually also. And this can happen only when a teacher addresses all of these things explicitly and openly, not behind the doors or in the staff room. But there are some issues which has to be discussed in the staff room, and that's why these days schools have got separate counseling rooms. I think you have in your school. If you have, you can put it on the chat. I think you have this place where a separate counselor sits in the class, in a separate room where the children go there and share their problems. A very good initiative, by the way. Yeah, yeah, that's great. Learning appropriate socially accepted gender role and responsibilities, exploring, choosing, and preparing for occupation in their adult life. This is the most tricky situation. By the grade 7 and 8, people already start asking, children, what do you want to become in future? Have you really planned that? Now that's a super high pressure that the children have to decide on what they want to become, and that pressure increases when you see a fellow student already decided that, like, I want to become a pilot, and is completely doing everything related to aeronautical stuff, planes, flights, but the other child has not even decided it. This is super high pressure that generally happens, which we kind of have to address. Having hands-on work experience like internships and things like that, demonstrating a capable self as a student, friend, etc. In their personal and social life. Okay. So when we talk about capable self, teaches all those words like self-esteem, self-confidence, self-reliance, self-resilience. Now, when we talk about all these self, it's all about talking to yourself, understanding yourself. A teacher needs to give the provisions for the children to explore on these areas. So these are the psychological needs of learners of secondary stage. I've taken this document directly from the NCERT portal. That's why you're able to see NCERT logo out over here. Let's quickly understand what opportunities in school where PSQs can be nurtured among secondary stage learners. One is nurturing personal and social qualities through curriculum. Now, for curriculum, whatever subject we might take, having a project work and a group activity can inculcate interpersonal skills, the ability to talk to opposite genders, the ability to talk about matters that are of taboo stuff, like you can't really talk about the marriage age. Now, for a student of grade 8 and 9, talking about marriage age, we might think, oh, ये बड़ी बात है, शादी के बारे में क्यों बात? No, that's wrong. The child can talk about it because it's present in the book. Talking about few social problems that's there in India or in the country or in the region around. For example, girls are not supposed to go out on during their menstrual days. Then how can they come to school? There can be a debate on that. Girls are important or boys are important. A debate can be there. So all these things could be some kind of activity coming under curriculum. Or in fact, if you talk about global warming, there could be a project on that. You talk about the pollution, there could be a problem with that. Population control, there could be a project work on that. Comes under curriculum. Various school activities, nurturing PSQs to various school activities could be assembly responsibility. I think you already have this. You have this voting and all that's happening in the school to select the prefect or the monitors or the captains and the vice captains, house captains, whatnot. All these things can attribute to school activities that can nurture a PSQ, a sense of leadership, a sense of responsibility. Yeah. Next point, nurturing PSQs through pre-vocational or vocational education. Now, this is something very academic and non-academic simultaneously. For example, a child is exposed to a sense of a scientific experiment. You try to use an acid and a base, and you try to mix together and you get a salt. Now, at this particular point, a child would want to do something else. What if I mix acid and salt? What would happen? The ability of a teacher to allow this to happen is somewhere very important, where it's coming under the category of pre-vocational and vocational education. They will have this curiosity always fired up in them forever in their life. Hands-on activities in interested career path, like you want to have you want to become a pilot. Let's go to, say, Hindustan Aeronautical Limited. Let's go to some other place, Nehru Planetarium. There you have got a superb model of a rocket and a plane sitting over there. Let's talk about it. So that could be nurturing PSQs through pre-vocational and vocational education. Finally, school library is a rich resource where PSQs can be nurtured, like reading materials on autobiographies. This is not part of any subject. Magazines on latest current affairs. These are some of the things that could be done. Yeah. So this like, what exactly is PSQ, and why are we even talking about it? Here comes the first activity. So let me quickly play this video. So quality one, care and sensitivity. This is an important attribute of a student to be developed under the PSQ category according to NCERT. Watch this, teachers.
Hello dear teachers, let's conduct an activity called What is in Our Mind to help our young learners become sensitive and caring human beings. For this, give all the students a sheet of paper with what is in our mind written on it. Next, give the students 2-3 minutes to write down what's going on in their mind without mentioning their name on the paper. After writing, tell the students to fold the paper and drop it in a box. Next, mix all the papers in the box. Now, ask a student volunteer to distribute the papers randomly to all the students in the class. Ask each student to unfold the paper and share the content written on it, and also mention what that student had written herself or himself on their page, which she had dropped in the box. Let a student volunteer list down on the board the common as well as the differing thoughts being shared by the classmates. Help students to see that despite the many differences between them, such as differences in their height, weight, complexion, their participation and performance in various academic and school activities, differences in their family and social background, interests, aspirations, desires, etc., they will still have many common concerns. Draw attention of your students also to the thoughts that emerged as different concerns. Ask students to share their views about these thoughts, concerns, such as what can be the reason for such thought or concern, what can be done regarding these concerns, etc. Put up the list of common concerns on display in the class. Also, discussion can be held sometimes on the specific concerns that were identified by the students, its cause and how it can be dealt with. Doing this activity with your students in the class frequently will help them to become more sensitive towards their classmates and nurture in them a caring human being. Thank you.
Great. So that was with respect to care and sensitivity. Care and sensitivity also comes as an important attribute which is developed during the PT periods. I think you would have seen that the playtime PT periods PT masters would have told the children, play as a team and respect somebody else. And if somebody is hurting the other person, it's considered to be foul. So these are some of the subconscious hints to tell the children that you need to be a little more concerned about your fellow mates. That comes under the category of care and sensitivity. Very important topic. And as a teacher, if you can show this in front of the children to your fellow teachers, that's even more great. Sometimes it can even be staged. You can tell your fellow teacher that come like this, walk in the corridor and try to fall down in the corridor. I'll come and lift you up. You can change roles. Point is, you can actually do something like this so that you show children. Sometimes it can be staged as well, according to me. Why not? Let's go forward. Let's go, but act very good so that it should not be like as if you're falling and everybody knows that it was staged, like the way it is happening in the NCERT thing. Yeah, so let's go with the next one. And next is trustworthiness. Now, trustworthiness, let's do a small activity on the same, where we talk about how to trust someone. Now, trusting someone is very, very difficult, and that can happen only when the person has continuously kept your secrets alive. A child is coming and talking about themselves, something very, very confidential, and you keep that with you only all the time and never talk about it to anyone else. Then somewhere you are very strong with this attribute of trustworthiness. You are the right person to trust on. Generally, counselors or therapists or these people, they're so strong. They will never ever reveal about what a particular client has ever spoken. And that's very important attribute. And that can happen only when you are able to keep secrets of others or yours. If you have a secret and you go and share with everyone else, maybe this attribute can never happen. So that's why they very rightly mention it all begins from the teacher. Let's go with being trustworthy is largely based on how quickly one can win the confidence of students. Yes or no, teachers? Yes. No. Okay, there's a mixed response. See, we are not in a race to win the confidence of the students, are we? No. I think, okay, if I say yes, Let's check. Okay, see, it's a wrong answer. How quickly one can win the confidence of the students? That is not a factor for trustworthy. It's going to be consistent and it's going to take a long time. And now when I check, yeah. So being trustworthy is largely based on how quickly one can win the confidence of winning the confidence of the students is never a race. It needs a lot of perseverance. Some teachers are trusted only after 1 or 2 years. That rigid are the students. Let's go to the next question. One's judgment and discernment for students' behavior. Now, when we talk about being trustworthy is largely based on one's judgment. No, discernment is also some way of judging based on the past. Now, here when we talk about, okay, this child's parents are cobblers. ये shopkeeper है, grocery store में काम करता है. So this child will be like this only, somewhere like that. So being trustworthy is largely based on one's judgment. No, definitely not. That's great. That's great. You're right. You're all right. Absolutely correct. Let's go to the next question. Being trustworthy is largely based on one's ability to be truthful and sincere towards one's feelings and thoughts, both about one's own self and that of others. Ye barabar hai. Yeah, this is yes. Of course, you need to be truthful for yourself and sincere for yourself, and only then you can express this for others. That's great. That's great. Do we have more? Yeah, we have. I go to the next question. Being trustworthy is largely based on one's ability to make students do according to their directions. आपके हिसाब से अगर बच्चों ने किया तो that बच्चा is trustworthy. Is it like that? Definitely no. Definitely no. Exactly. It's not at all required. A child can always come up with a contradiction towards a teacher. Okay, that's it. There are 4 questions that came under this, and that summarizes everything. Let's go to the next quality, teachers. Let's go to the next quality. And now comes the positive attitude. And this is again a small demonstration of 2 minutes. I'm playing the video. Please watch this.
Hello teachers. As we know that having a positive attitude helps us to see the good in us as well as in others. In this video, we will try to see how having a positive attitude towards others can help to promote acceptance of others and contribute to creating a positive environment in the classroom or in a school. Here is a scene from the staff room of a school where 2 teachers, Sakshi and Richa, are checking the homework of their students. While checking the papers, Sakshi has a thought that Richa is so arrogant, so rude and so prideful. She thinks to herself that how is she so rude and so self-centered? She never speaks to me on her own. Such a selfish attitude. But then Sakshi remembers, oh, but yesterday she helped me with my work. She is also very kind to me at times. The other day she shared her lunch with me, and she is always good to our students. Maybe she is not as bad as I think of her. Sakshi now views Richa in a different way, as a kind and caring and helpful person. This shows how our attitude towards others can impact the way we view others. Teachers can emphasize that all of this can have several positive and negative qualities. However, having a favorable attitude towards others can promote acceptance of others and to form good social relationships. Like Sakshi and Richa, in the classroom also many students may have such negative thoughts about each other. As teachers, we need to promote and encourage them to see their positive sides as well. Having a positive attitude towards each other can lead to self-acceptance and happiness with oneself, along with happiness in the classroom environment. Thank you.
Great. So that was with respect to positive attitude. So there's always a good thing in a bad thing, and there's always a bad thing in a good thing, something like that. It's like, okay, then in Kung Fu also they have that symbol. So something like that they were trying to address over here, and they did a very good job. So I told you, right? Their acting is very clear that it's an acting. So that's why I find this NCERT course to be kind of, interesting, lovable. It's like cute. You did your acting good. I really like that. I would like to go ahead with one more attribute, actually two more, and that's going to come over here by going to the next slide. And this particular, great. This is effective communication skills. I feel that effective communication skills forms the backbone of any, personal social quality. But somewhere this is not that greatly communicated in this video, but chalega, you will be able to understand non-verbal communications. Watch this.
Hello everyone. We all use communication to interact with one another in our daily lives. Effective communication not only helps us to express our ideas and feelings, but it also helps us to understand the emotions and feelings of others. It is important to note that non-verbal part of the communication is as important as the verbal part of the communication. In this video, we will be demonstrating an activity to show how we can promote effective communication among the students. In your classroom, ask any two students to act few emotions in front of the class. Here, I am asking Dr. Sushmita and Ms. Saloni to enact few emotions for us. Anger, worry, excitement. Were you able to identify these emotions? Similarly, you have to ask the class if they can identify the expressed emotion. Later, discuss with the class how the same emotion expressed by two different students through their facial expressions were different. During the discussion, teachers should explain the students that non-verbal communication is when our thoughts and our feelings are conveyed through our facial expression, our tone of voice, and our body posture. Non-verbal communication plays a significant role in our lives as it can improve our ability to relate, engage, and establish meaningful interactions in everyday life, and therefore can help us to develop stronger relationships with others. Teachers should make students understand that although existence of basic emotions are universal, but the expressions of the same emotion can vary from person to person.
So that's with respect to effective communication skills. And I think some schools already have this drama club and all, where the children try to communicate with just their expressions. And I think that's an important skill that should be imbibed in the children at an early age. Try to tell something without actually speaking about it in a specific language. Yeah, that's interesting, right? Let's go with language club is a fantastic place where you can do all these things. Yeah, an interesting place. Finally, we come to the last part of the session, and this particular area is called as empathy. So finally, the last part is empathy. Now, for that, I would like to quickly stop share the screen for a few seconds, and then I'll reshare. Empathy and perspective taking are the two most outer layer of any PSQ. Personal and social quality has got multiple aspects of care and sensitivity, trustworthiness, being loyal, whatnot. But somewhere they are all a subset of perspective taking and empathy. It's about understanding the other person from other person's shoes. Now, when you look at someone and you have an opinion about the person and you be the person are entirely two different things. Empathy comes only with emotions. It can never ever be taught. How much ever you speak about it, it can never be taught. It can only be felt, just like air. And for that, I think some of you would have seen this video. It's quite a famous advertisement. And if you've not, then that's okay, but please watch this. Teachers, it's mandatory for everyone to fill the reflection form and then leave for the certification. And right after this video, we'll close the session, but I would like to play this. Please watch this.
เขาจะได้อะไรถ้าเขาทำแบบนี้ทุกวันเขาจะไม่ได้อะไรเลย ไม่ได้รวยขึ้น ไม่ได้ออกทีวี ไม่มีใครรู้จัก ไม่ได้มีชื่อเสียงที่มากขึ้น เพราะสิ่งที่เขาได้ คือได้แค่ความรู้สึก ได้เห็นความสุข ได้เข้าใจ ได้ความรัก ได้ในสิ่งที่เงินซื้อไม่ได้ ได้โลกที่สวยงามกว่าเดิม ในชีวิตคุณ อะไรคือสิ่งที่คุณต้องการมากที่สุด
ไทยประกันชีวิตเชื่อในความดี
Okay, that's with respect to the life insurance advertisement, and that brings us to the last part, empathy. So I think the attributes of empathy that we spoke about, it brings us what money can't buy, and that's an interesting story about this. So that brings to the end of the session, teachers. Personal and social qualities, an important skill to be imbibed as a teacher, first for yourself, and then transmit to others just with your aura and vibrations. Yeah, and automatically children will take care of themselves. So thank you so much for bringing this back to us. Thank you so much for coming on Super Sunday workshops regularly, teachers. Reflection forms needs to be filled, and please remember, you'll be receiving the certificate within 15 days timeline. If you have not received the last week's certificate, you will receive it by the upcoming Monday, and until that you will not be receiving it. Just to wait for some more time, you will definitely receive it, teachers. And next week Sunday, we are going to talk about the school leadership quality exclusively for principals, head coordinators, HMs, and everybody who's having a leadership role. So I'm saying it right now today itself so that you can actually register for the same. You'll be able to see the upcoming events in our website where you can find this. And today or tomorrow, we will try to send you the mail also about the next Super Sunday workshop. It's going to be on school leadership qualities, and it's going to be an amazing session for sure. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much. It was great interacting. Great. If you have mailed the concerns, you'll definitely receive it, teachers. Just wait for some more time. Within 15 days timeline, you should definitely receive it. If not, just keep mailing us. All the mails are there in unread form. We will definitely reply back to you. And Sushmita and Swati from our team members are regularly getting in touch with all those people who did not receive the mails, and sharing the certificate for around 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 people becomes a very difficult task. So reflection forms will get closed by today evening. Please answer all the questions of the reflection form. We have questions related to what we have done today in the session to bring a little more seriousness to the whole certification process, so that a school principal can decide if this could be considered under the CPDRs or not. So make sure you fill it properly, and if there is a report being required by some of the school teachers or principals out there, I will be able to share that these are the teachers who have been consistently coming to the program and things like that. Yeah, thank you so much. Let's close the session for the day. It's Sunday. I don't want to take more of your time. It's already 5-6 minutes delay. And in case if anybody has any separate queries, you can directly talk to us, and you have my number on the reflection form also. please fill up the reflection form. Follow us on YouTube and LinkedIn. If you have not created your LinkedIn profile even now, you are somewhere lagging behind. I would humbly request everyone to please create your LinkedIn profile and start looking at what's happening around the globe with respect to education. A lot of new things are coming. Yeah, trust me. Thank you so much. Let me close for the day. If there is any query, please put it on the chat. I'll be here for another 2 or 3 minutes and then we can close it completely. Thank you. Thank you, Savita ma'am, Lalita ma'am, Ms. Chatterjee. Thank you so much. The reflection form will be there on the chat. Thank you so much, Meenakshi ma'am. Thank you so much. Thanks for being consistent, ma'am. Thank you, Richa ma'am. Thank you, Kavita ma'am. Great. Thank you, Ashwanta ma'am, Harita ma'am, Rashmita ma'am. Try sharing your Super Sunday workshop links with your colleagues and other people also. Let them also, learn things. And I'm sure that you understand, like, this 1 hour we try to give as much value as possible. So I'm just trying to have a ripple effect created for as many people as possible. Thank you. Thank you so much. The session recording will be there on YouTube. Thank you, Vasundhara ma'am. Thank you so much. It's there on YouTube and you can have, shown this to people. But yeah, anyways, being live at that particular moment, having an interaction on YouTube live chat and Zoom chat is quite a charm. So try to be at 10 o'clock. But anyways, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Sangeeta ma'am, this time you will receive the link by Tuesday or Wednesday itself, because next week is quite an important session according to me on school leadership. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Rajlakshmi ma'am, Tanya ma'am. Yes, Vasundhara ma'am. Live is having its own charm. Somehow even I feel that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Shobha ma'am. Thank you, Ansi ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Kasturi. Thank you so much. Sudeshna ma'am, thank you so much. Great. I don't think so any queries are coming up. Great. Let's close for the day. Have a happy weekend. Few more hours with the family. And again, the routine starts from tomorrow. Best of luck to the coming week. Thank you so much. I'm closing the day. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Yeah, Jai Hind. Bye.